Along the horizon line, amber orange burns. Fire licks and turns, it towers and spires, the marvels of civilization brought low by its own doing. Humanity's marvel, humanity's progress, the capital city of Montella burns. And in its wake, vehicles pull away from the calamity, speeding past security checkpoints, ignoring guards that put fire on them on the way out, and make their way towards their own destiny. Good morning, afternoon, and or evening, depending upon time zone. Ladies, gentlemen, and all those in between and beyond that binary of the internet. Welcome back to Neon Lights Roleplay, and more specifically, welcome back to Stardust Ghosts. Our no amount of armor story doesn't seem like it's all-encompassing enough world. An odyssey, really, a drama, an epic, if you will. I'm Foxy. I host this little soiree of ours. That's how you use that word? I don't know. And I have with me four incredibly industrious storytellers, four dedicated souls, four battle angels of Seraph Lance, dedicated to, in their strive, become human. Or perhaps, if they can grasp it, something more. I can tell you all about who they are, but I'd rather let them do that themselves. So in the order that I call you out, please go ahead and tell me who you are, who you're playing this evening, where you can be found on the internet, and answer the following question. There is a light in the darkness. There is a hope at the end. A glistening, brilliant radiance that you know will save you, but in its saving, will consume you. Do you reach for it? We'll start off with someone who I have the genuine pleasure to work with so many times. I hope I get to continue to do so in the future, as they are an incredibly dedicated soul who I think has been growing steadily more. Sorry. I do it every time. I do it every episode. It's a running thing. I'm doing a thing.
She's alive. She's alive. She's definitely alive. As far as anyone else can tell, she's alive. By all definitions of the word, sentient, Dolphin, all those things, right? As for where you can find me, don't find me. Just on the internet. Sorry.
Yeah,
as
people don't use Twitter.
For your question, I think Arth has already answered that question about 3 years. The answer is yes.
Fitting answer. Arth, we're going to slide around to somewhere else in the overlay. I don't actually know where everybody is in the overlay right now. I'm just kind of spitballing and guessing. So we're just going to call them up by name and let them introduce themselves. Someone who I think brings to this game a grand degree of... I did that intro already. So instead, I think we're going to say that this person is... They are a unique presence in humanity because they are capable of always sort of putting the best forward. And I don't mean always doing their best. I mean putting the best in other people forward. This person is really good at seeing the brilliance in others and letting them bring that radiance to bear, both in and out of character. Hi, Danny. How are you?
Hi. Hi. What did I think to say on this
I don't
day?
know.
Hi. I'm damn. I'm Danny. I'm Danny. I forgot. Ketty, our person who has decided, no matter what their situation is, they've decided to be alive and be a person.
Maybe being human is a decision rather than a state of being. The question then is, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. There is a hope waiting in the darkness. Its radiance will save you, but it will also consume you. Do you reach for it?
I think with the hope that in being consumed is just another path of revealing oneself, Kenny would take it.
Prophetic. I like that. We'll keep that in mind as we move on to the next of our little motley crew. We have someone who I think I enjoy their place in this game primarily because, along with a grand degree of talent, finesse, and skill at the craft, they also bring heart, personhood, realness, reality to a game that wouldn't be as human as it is without them. I'm of course talking about anyone who's anyone knows, the incredible and incomparable Casper the MB Ghost. Pleasure to see you, darling.
That was very sweet. Thank you.
Yeah.
OCO, I am Casper the NB Ghost. You can find me on Twitter at Casper DNB Ghost, and everywhere at Casper DANB Ghost. Branding. And I am playing Jocosta Kubaka, aka Doc. And to answer your question, knowing where Doc is emotionally right now, I don't think she'd go towards the light. I think she's too angry to take it.
Yet another good y'all are. It's like y'all read my notebook. You know, don't worry about it later. It's not important until like 2 episodes from now. Anyway, and lastly, but certainly anything but least, we bring ourselves to one last member of our table, someone who I enjoy their place in this game for something I didn't really know they brought to a table until I got to play with them. But it's just this grand degree of. If you watch enough shonen, you understand this principle that I think doesn't really have a name, but I can only call this raw fist-balled energy, this raw desire to say, no, I don't really care how the world is, it should be this way, and I'm going to keep fighting until it is. And I don't think much other things could encompass the kind of person that this player is behind the scenes, separate from their character, other than letting them play a character just like that. So I'll shut the hell up and let you all meet the incredible Akemi.
Hi, that's me. I'm Akemi. Ninja Penguin AM. Today I'm playing Mika, Tresfield, she, her, and Mika likes explosions because explosions are pretty and they're really cool and it's fun to make things go explodey.
They do.
Of which, I don't know if Mika will grasp the light because she is the ball of light.
Hell. Damn, y'all are... Which one of y'all put my notes on Discord? Add me to the group chat right now and stop playing this game. I'm not okay with it. All right, we're gonna have this talk later because the fact that you came to my house, took my notes out of my house, and didn't even stop to say hi to me is a problem. So we're gonna.
But I left you food in the fridge.
Yeah, I don't know. You just sort of left your door open, and I sort of like, you just left the book there. So we just sort of.
All right. Well, I guess I'll discuss the security of my bedroom some other time. But outside of my players somehow knowing what I had planned, despite me not telling them anything, we'll deal with all of that, like I said, in some time. There's of course one last member of our lovely table who is not here today, but I think it is a bit fitting that we are not currently able to get the answer from our dear Roxanne, as Roxanne's story is still shrouded in mystery. Mystery that, while cracks in it have appeared in the last few episodes, they haven't quite blown open yet. Speaking of cracks, y'all blew a lot of things up last episode, didn't you?
And it was glorious.
It sure was. Last time, we found ourselves following Seraph Lance as they, went AWOL, for lack of better terms. Leaving the barracks to group up with a gathering of resistance fighters, they traveled inland to go and rescue their commander, Tamir, from, the hospital unit he was stored in. The fighters, who all seem to show a grand degree of respect for our resident Seraph Lance, offered their assistance in causing They blew a lot of stuff up and killed a lot of people, which is what you do to cause distractions. While Seraph Lance broke themselves in, fought with perfect team coordination, and made their way to their commander. It took time and effort, as beyond the veil of life and death, Tamir, or at least a part of him, didn't quite want to return to mortality. But with the convincing of his squad, with the reminder of his chosen family, of the people he fights for, he found his relief. And, the squad grouped up. Some other fun, saucier incidents might have happened. Go watch last episode, it was a really good time. And leaving behind a trail of destruction, flames, and the rampaging bodies of 5 or 6 Type 22s that had been freed from their bonds. Our party begins to make their way out of Montella. It is roughly, it's the morning. You all left late at night, so you probably slept in your vehicles while the drivers kept driving over the evening, maybe stopped for a shift change, but don't worry about that too much. There's 3 or 4 vehicles, so there's enough space for everyone to be where you need to be. So, decide on your own. One vehicle, which is mostly just a much larger up-armored van, almost like a minibus, really, has been hollowed out most of its seats and made replaced with computer equipment and some jury-rated medical equipment. Doc, you probably oversaw some of the scrap rigging of it. Mostly because that's currently being used as Tamir's transport. He's kind of, 1, still trying to rest and recover from, the gunshot wound. And 2, is also, still trying to get a sense of everything that's happened in the time he's been unconscious. So he's in that vehicle, keeping tabs on everything, running some data, and said he'd tap in when he has more information to share. The rest of you all can be anywhere else, in that van with him, in other vehicles with each other, by yourself. Really up to you at this point. And other than that, I think you guys might have some stuff to talk about, maybe just a little bit. So how about I shut the hell up and let you guys do that, yeah? Darlings, the scene is yours.
Before we get started, I do want to say that I did spend a gross amount of time during the night trying again to break into Dr. Asano's tablet to,
No,
see what the evil bitch was up to.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And I will definitely follow up on a lot of what you've learned. I will say primarily that you notice that the data banks are self-purging, as in they are designed to shut down after whatever incident, again, that deadman switch went off. Doesn't mean you don't get anything. There's definitely still things you get. Namely, you get a pretty solid background on Evelyn Asano. A lot of her sort of background information, where she's from, what she's done, a lot of things you knew already from studying her work previously, but other things, information you quite have had. You also get full detail on how Project Phoenix works, what the System Mark III is. You don't necessarily have like what she did to do it, but the final product itself, you have the ins and outs of it. Like, if you had an infinite amount of time and resources, you could replicate this, is the impression you have based on this. However, understanding it fully, breaking it down, all of its pieces, will definitely take time. The last thing you get, which, I don't know, might be helpful later, I don't know, it might be nothing important to you, is Master Control Passkey for Military Intelligence, which lets you gain any access to any of their information files, regardless of security clearance. That is, however, specific for military intelligence.
That's cool, because I only want military intelligence.
You're kind of important.
Literally to look up witch stuff, but I've done a lot of work tonight, and Arth is giving me like evil eyes to make sure I go to sleep. So before they steal the tablet, I'm gonna just log out and go to bed.
Yeah, when your partner takes your phone and says go to bed. I should do that more. Anyway.
I also have one more night thing. I will say before
please.
we do group stuff. I need to be concerning. I think maybe when the others have gone to bed, it's like, are the vans still moving during the night?
As it hits like midnight fully, they are still traveling. If you stay fully awake for like another couple of hours, you might see them stop for like a quick shift change of like drivers, kind of thing. But they don't really seem to be planning on stopping anytime soon, mostly because the plan is to head assuming the plan is currently still straight to Redsham, at least as far as they know. Yeah. So they are mostly still trying to ply forward and stay on schedule. But they will stop briefly for moments here or there for, minor repairs, getting somebody out of the mud, stuff like that. Great.
Then during the night, during one of the shift changes, and isn't that like Hetty stayed awake for this? I like to think she slept in shifts and was essentially like waking up, checking to see if she woke up during a shift change, or if it looks like it was about to be a shift change, and if not, she went back to sleep. But this is one of the moments during a shift change. she will very quietly, probably while others are talking, get out of the van, and quietly like close the door behind her and not move away from it. She's just gonna be very close to it. But she first is going to feel. There was a moment that comes to mind where she noticed that Dr. Asano had touched her face and reached for something behind her ear, and it seemed like she was interacting with something. And Teddy noticed and then didn't do anything about it because she had trusted her. But now she is going to reach up and see if she can feel for what that was.
Mm-hmm. Ketty, there's a small node. It's not like anything that protrudes from your skin, so you almost don't notice it, but there is a sort of line indicating a panel almost right behind your ear. It's square, and no more than maybe a fingernail in size. But running your hand over it, it kind of frees your fingerprint and pops out a bit. And the sort of panel itself, if you pull at it, contains what appears to be a small, well, it's a component of some kind, certainly mechanical, and it's not really clear what it is or does, but your head feels a little bit clearer, maybe. Thoughts sort of flow a little snappier, you know?
Okay. Okay, takes a deep breath. It's a little jarring to not have their thoughts be calculated in the way of how they're moving in their mind. But they're going to do one more thing. And for this, they take a few steps away, and sort of put like. Actually, yeah, no, they're just gonna sort of keep their hand by their neck. It feels like, and go very quietly. Dr. Asano?
You don't hear anything. It's quiet.
Okay. Okay. And then she just nods and will go back into the car and go to sleep.
You step inside. You slowly close your eyes and drift off to sleep. And yeah, nothing feels dramatically changed, Zima. You don't feel like sudden revelation or anything like that. It's nothing like that. But again, in a way you can't quite perceptibly place, things just seem a bit more free-flowing a little. You know? Your brain's just a bit more comfortable in itself, if I had to define it in some strange way like that.
Yeah.
Anything else? Or shall we move on with the evening for...
Gonna have a group talk.
Well, yeah. So we'll pick up
Yep.
in the sort of middle of the next day. Some of you probably wake up in your car seats, you know, noticing that it's just brighter and you're further into the forests now. At this point, you can only barely see the sort of lingering embers still over parts of Montella. The smoke is still high in the sky, and the brimstone smell probably won't get out for a while. But overall, you find yourself reminded of the same quiet, maybe almost comfortable peace some of you found on your way here. Except where before that was the peace of comfort, maybe excitement. This is the peace of resolution. Well, otherwise, decide what vehicles you're in, who you're riding with. You can all be in one if you want, it's totally fine, or others separately. But yeah, I'd say, once again, this scene remains yours. Feel free to carry on.
Doc is gonna sleep in.
if possible, Ketty would want to be in a van with everybody. Um, uh, and so they probably really enough woke up early as usual. It's like their body is just on that schedule now. It's no sense. Um, and they're just sort of sitting there. And so whenever somebody wakes up, Kitty's just there and gives a little wave, and says, "Good morning."
I think Arth and Ketty are up at around the same time, basically. The early birds.
I'm drooling in the corner, by the way.
Yeah. I think when you like wave with good morning, it's like, good morning, Ketty. And Arth is going to just sort of like is gonna like very like grab like a napkin from somewhere, just like wipe off the drool off of Joe, and then like tuck her in a little bit more. She's gonna go turn over towards where Mika is. Mika, are you still asleep?
Of course.
Yeah. Definitely Arth is going to head over and just once again like just do that like sort of like tuck in, grab a jacket maybe for like extra warmth.
Do you? How are you? How are you feeling?
Well, guess it's just another day for me. How about you, Ketty?
I'm not sure. I'm feeling a lot of things. But I weirdly can really feel them more than I used to. So it makes it a little bit more difficult to process. But I think overall I'm quite content. I am happy to see our commander, to see Tamir, here with us and resting. I am happy that we are all together still, that we are safe for the meantime. I am confused. I feel fairly confused. But perhaps that is appropriate for the situation we are in and the actions we are taking.
Yeah, I think on its head. How are you feeling about Are you No, okay. Just and Arth will just move a little bit closer, sort of like very, very slowly, like, you know, like haltingly kind of like offering to stop if Ketty said, like, you know, indicates a no. Give like a one-armed hug.
Mm.
I don't know what kind of relationship you had with Dr. Are you maybe not okay, but how are you at that kind of betrayal actually hurt?
It, I don't like it. I didn't like it. It, wasn't, it wasn't very nice. And though I perhaps should have expected it. And maybe I am not as smart for not realizing it.
Squeeze. The thing about the people that we trust is the smartest people. Times it was still worth knowing the face of us all.
That's true. There's... Perhaps there's a version of her that I miss greatly. And perhaps that is a false version I've made up in my mind, where she was the one who cared and who saw me as something useful and something that could be great. No one had done that before. I remember, I think I spent a lot of my time being given around and feeling alone and not wanted, which was okay. Maybe that's just what it was at the time. I didn't need to be... I wasn't meant to be wanted. But things are different now. And she was the start of things being different. And I'm thankful for that. In the same way that I am angry that she did the things she did. And treated you all the way she did. But a part of me wants to still see her and have her hold me the way she did.
Give you a tighter squeeze. The kind of pressure that you can really feel through, I guess, like whatever mechanical plates and servos are on.
Yeah.
Like, I think Arth is actually going to sort of like reach out with their emotion, give you that. Like, it's really hard for Arth to just put this in words, okay? But like she really wants to just say like, hey, like it's not. You are wanted, right? And just sort of like if Joe was awake right now, like she'd say that you're wanted too. Like this is like that sort of like determined sort of like this is a fact of life kind of.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that. As the two of you embrace, the car hits a bump. It's not like a bad thing, like the car goes like flying or anything, but it's a hard enough jostle that the two sleepers in there are probably at least semi-jostled away, depending on how hard they are as far as sleepers go. I don't know.
When I get jostled awake, because that would have woken me up, Joe is like, she was starting to get restless, and when that jostled her awake, because whatever, she's gonna wake up in a start and be like, Jonah broke my model. Fuck, mate. Coffee.
Good morning,
And
Joe.
I'm looking directly at Art, and it's just like,
Okay.
coffee.
There is already a prepared like cup in a holster, like one of those like cup holders of like it's like shitty like it's very shitty coffee, like the kind that you get just from any old random station from across the way. Kind of weak, but like
The resistance fighters have an Instacaf, which is just a bar of some kind of something that you drop into a cup of hot water and you have.
Oh no.
I mean, it's
Well,
got
they
it's
call
got the
it coffee,
caffeine
but-
content. It'll wake you up, but the taste is
Yeah,
something awful.
They call it coffee, but I think it's more them trying to convince themselves more than anything else.
Yeah, she's gonna take it if it's hot, and she's just gonna be like, "Oh, sweet heavenly bean juice," and down it, and then realize what she drank, and it's just like, finish it. Go finish it.
The driver at the front of the car just says, "If you need help, just in your mind, just repeat, it's coffee, it's coffee, it's coffee."
Yeah, it's a mantra as she chews it to get it down.
It's got slightly the consistency, like a little bit of consistency of like almost Jello.
Oh god,
Oh,
I hate it.
oh no.
Yeah, you know what? I don't miss that at all. Alright, where are we? What's I miss?
We're about 16 hours into the journey. Probably still a few days away from Redsham. That's still the plan, right? Heading right there.
Yeah. Keep on your heading, or stay the course, or whatnot. I'm assuming Roxanne is with Tamir right now, so I'm gonna just check in with her and be like,
Sure.
"Is he not dead yet?"
She responds and he's breathing. Asleep. Breathing.
He's stable.
Mostly. Doesn't like sitting still much, but none of the wounds have opened up yet.
Oh, that's fantastic. All right, keep an eye on him. Thank you.
Doing
And
my
before
level
she can
best.
say anything, I'm like, I don't care what you say, ma'am. I really don't. Right. Is Mika still asleep? Oh, should I be quiet?
Oh
No. Mika's also woken up from this jolt.
no.
And she's been in the
So how do you
Don't
wake
like
up from the
military
jolt?
long enough to know, like, when you can get sleep, you get sleep. But if something happens, you wake up and. But Mika, being Mika, has fallen asleep in an awkward sleep yoga pose.
Sleep yoga.
And then, like, because now and Arth had put a blanket on her, so she pops up and then it trips on the blanket to try to get up, and it's like, oh,
Cool.
wait, it's cool. I'm still in the car.
Yeah, Mika now on the floor of the van.
Oh, I'm pretty sure she's fell asleep on the floor of the van.
What?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah,
Which is how she
absolutely.
ended up in the awkward sleep yoga pose.
True that.
Keddy, who
But-
is still like
And it
bundled
was
up.
like, oh, something happened, jump up, but I'm now tangled in the blanket and then fall back down.
It's like you're fighting the blanket. Like it was
It's me every
attacking
Thursday
you.
morning, frankly.
Realizes, okay, man is still moving, it's fine, and it's nothing to worry about. Untangles self from blanket.
Good morning, Mika.
Morning!
Right, yeah. It's a day.
Keddy is still like hugging Arth, by the way. Like she's like curled up in this embrace. She has not moved.
Yeah, Doc's gonna look at this like, sweetheart, what did I miss?
Oh, we were talking while you were sleeping with the water out of your mouth.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
People are killing me.
Oh, yeah, because Arth cleaned it for you. Arth's very nice.
None of that ever happened, Keddy.
Oh,
Arth surreptitiously hides their handkerchief.
I did not drool. I also don't snore. Looking at Art.
Arth just is looking like very like deer in the headlights, like.
I also look at. Kenny also looks at Arth because it's sort of like for some reason she's not understanding. This is like, and she's like, "Look, I swear, Arth, you clean. Is this a tactic lie?"
Eddie, let's go see what's available for breakfast.
Okay. Wait. 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 Before we do, and Ketty wants to like still holding onto Arth. They sort of reach out for Mika first. Sort of like do like grabbing hands motion, and then it looks like she's like, if you like take her hand, she like pulls you into a hug. And then she's gonna do the same to Joe. And she just sort of initiates this little group hug. And says, I just felt it was appropriate for today. I'm glad we're all here.
Pat. Joe is uncomfortable with physical contact first thing in the morning, so
Mika was surprised, and then was like, "Oh, group hug! Ah, group hug!"
It's real cute when y'all aren't murdering shit.
Yeah.
I think Arth and Joe are just like equal amounts of like very stiff right now.
Oh dear.
Okay, we can stop the hug now. I'm feeling like it's not being enjoyed as much. But I will.
I just yeah, I have information. If you want to let me go, please. Kind of shimmy out of that. And then I basically go through like the final project details. Do I find any details about Lily in these plans? Like, not named, but like, do I name a department that Mika might recognize and be like, oh hey, Lily works there?
Actually, yes.
Plans.
Well, yes, but so it's not necessarily like a, oh, Lily works there. It's more of a, oh, I heard Lily was posted there at some point. One of the divisions that contributed to Asano's research, in this case of the Geist Mark III, was advanced mechanics. Usually, in fact, it's a division that both of you would know, actually, as technically, that's the division that your parents' project was under before, you know.
So yeah, I'm gonna lay out the details of like what I got from her thing. I'm not letting anybody know I got the master controls for military intelligence yet, because I don't know what I'm looking for. Well, I don't have any actionable intel yet, so I'm just gonna keep that.
We'll get there.
Yeah, I know. I'm just gonna keep that nugget in my back pocket. So it appears that the doctor, Asano, I can't call her doctor. I can't. So a lot of Mark III comes from advanced mechanics, as under the umbrella under advanced mechanics. Like it looks like it's based off of my parents' work, and then there was a new division after AM got advanced mechs got restructured, which is the polite way of putting that they murdered my family, but whatever. Yeah, so once it got restructured and new heads of the department came in, I guess Asano took over from there, and that's how we got Witch. And from that point, further advance onto what we saw a few days ago. So that would be, yeah, it's laid out pretty basic. It's a lot of my family's work in here. So give me a few years and I could, fix it. No offense, Ketty. No offense to you or your creator. I don't like her, and so
What? No,
any
she's so great.
any vitriol I feel for her, please don't let that ever like think it's splashed onto you. I absolutely adore you. You understand?
I understand.
Oh, fantastic. So yeah.
Jocasta, are you okay?
What do you mean?
I simply feel there's a change in a change in your voice occasionally every time you mention your family. And I was curious as if that's something you wish to explore.
Really nothing to talk about, love. My family worked for the government. They did their jobs to the utmost of their ability, and instead of getting promoted and honored for it, they were brutally murdered, and then in a cover-up, now proclaimed heroes. And their statues line the main streets. You know, absolutely lovely.
Oh, you just lied to me again. That was
It's
a
not
lot of facts, but you didn't say how you felt.
It's not something I wish to address at this time.
Okay. That's fine. But, if you want to, or don't want to, and just want to be upset about it, we can be upset about it.
Ketty, love. I can handle this.
Okay.
Anyway, do we know anyone here? Does anyone here know anyone in advanced mechanics or anything like that?
Advanced mechanics. Oh yeah, I think if I remember correctly, I think that's where Lily was working.
Oh.
I'm really bad at
lovely
remembering all the
caramel.
names of the divisions. Like, there's so many of them.
I mean, she's not
Right.
wrong. General mechanics, enhanced mechanics, advanced mechanics, and experimental mechanics are all separate divisions. Why?
Right.
Bureaucracy. No idea.
Yeah, Doc was on the track for one of them and then decided to be like, nope, fuck this, and became a pilot.
No.
Right. So your paramour Lily was a member of advanced mechanics.
I remember correctly. That sounds right. Advanced, and then the other one, and the other one. Yeah, it was advanced mechanics.
Do you want to expand on that, love, or do you want to keep us guessing?
Well, she was the smart one, so I don't know about all that she did. But she did tell me that the Guy system was dangerous, and like, we need to be careful.
Sound advice.
I think we figured that out.
That we did.
Maybe that means you can talk to her, Joe, about all the things you found, maybe, and then maybe she'll have more insider information on it.
Yeah, I do believe that would work. Aren't we going to meet her? Isn't
Hope
she in
so.
Retcham? Yeah.
That was
Alright,
the plan.
yeah.
Unfortunately, my tablet connection to her still needs a couple more days to charge. So, well, maybe you could have the battery.
I don't think so. Tablets like that are very. If I had the ability, I absolutely would. But just the technology, it would require too much that we don't have now that we're on the go. I can't fix it here.
That makes sense. Although,
Yeah.
maybe we could ask if the next time we do a shift change, we could use the car battery to like charge the tablet faster.
Doc, roll me study real quick.
Sure.
The car battery.
We're gonna jumpstart a tablet. These are compatible. Yeah, I can do that. I'm trying to get below.
Yeah, equal to or
the
below your 18 is what you want.
Yeah.
You
So
got this.
Don't roll a 20 is what I'm telling you.
Yeah, you know what? Don't roll a 19 either.
Those two numbers are the two you don't want. Anything else?
Especially, especially not
Yeah,
the 19.5.
Yeah, no, it's just that when I. But I rolled the 19 though.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate. Well, hold on.
I mean, there's resolve.
I should remind you. Yes, you could spend a resolve point to drop your roll by 2, which would put you to a success if you wanted to.
Fine.
No, you don't have to. But
I mean, you don't have to.
No,
You can
because
failure if you want.
I really do want to know if I can actually jumpstart. I want to see if I can get away with this abomination on science.
Yeah,
Let's
so
go.
So
Oh my
yeah, with the
God.
with the -2, you got a 17. That's a success. So
Yes.
the first thing you think when you think like, could I jumpstart a tablet with a battery is, fuck no, of course you couldn't do that. No, of course not. But then you remember
Unless.
when Lily was doing her bragging about the tablet and the connection, she mentioned that it was like paramatically and psychomatically sealed, so that only effectively you all could hear it. And you've rightly recalled it's based on similar technology to the comms that you base your squad comms on. It might take a little bit of time, and by the time I probably mean like an evening maybe. So like if you guys did stop to like make camp for the night at some point somewhere, you could do that. But with enough time, you could probably force enough power through that system, that connection, to get a link. The only trouble is forcing that much power through all of you. Well, you don't have enough power to do that. So you could probably effectively make a woman connection. So just Mika could speak to Lily, and like literally just Mika would hear it. But if you want anything more than that, that's probably a little bit outside of what you can do.
Vicatria, of course. The jumps. It is. Wait a second. Hang on. Give me a night to think about it. And draw up some plan. You know what? Let me figure this out. And she immediately starts like sketching like ideas out on a notepad.
Oh,
It's like,
she's hyper focusing.
No, that won't work. Let's see. Focus this here.
Oh, God,
No, the worst part is if you tell Mika, oh hey, if you can get me a power source, she'll be like, okay, let me start running. And like, is this good enough?
Just fucking hamster wheel it.
I think
So if
Arth
you
is
tell Mika
I
that
love
you need a
her.
power source that does more, Mika will do everything in her power, including
running in
I'm
place.
gonna start, human power running.
She's so
to sort of
adorable. I
make this
love her
thing-
so much. My precious angel.
Must
So,
protect.
So, Mika, while you're hamster running in place, you also find yourself sort of kind of encountering, maybe stepping into almost a memory. It's not one you really ever forgot. You've revisited this memory, I'd argue maybe for you, probably pretty often. But it's coming back clearer to you now, like something kind of hazed out of your brain, and now you can more clearly remember that time. It's something I described in a previous episode. It's a memory of an evening, you and Lily in a grassy field, looking up at a night, at a sky full of shooting stars. You remember that evening, don't you? It's weird, though, that you've maybe forgotten what you two talked about that night. Well, most of it, at least. There's plenty of you do remember talking about. You're not going to forget a starlit night with your girlfriend. So why don't you start with telling
The
me
smell
what
of
you
the
do
grass
remember?
And
Mm-hmm. I mean, look, fair enough.
like, there's certain details that those stick, but other parts, you're right, are a bit fuzzy.
Mm-hmm. And it's weird, because suddenly with that haze no longer there, you find yourself able to kind of clearly push through and remember certain things there. You remember after an evening looking at the stars and discussing the future, talking about what could be, talking about how you knew the time would come soon for the two of you to part, how you'd be off to deployment and her off to being reassigned, how you made that promise of returning to her, how you'd say you'd get back here, and how she almost stubbornly said that the reason she was breaking up with you was so you wouldn't have to worry about that, even though you knew she didn't mean any fucking word of that. And then you remember she got weirdly serious. And then you got quiet for a bit, just staring at the stars. And you know what? I'm actually not even going to use that song. I'm going to use a different song. I'm using a whole different song, as a matter of fact. I'm using a whole different song. Switching the whole song up.
Change.
You remember, things got quiet for a while. And after a very strange silence, without really looking at you, looking past you almost, she started talking and said, "You know there's something past humanity, right? There has to be."
You mean like a final form?
I don't mean like an anime or something. I mean like, we've got to be more. We've got to be.
There's already so much that we can be. How can we be more than ourselves?
She says, I don't know, but there is so much that I've begun to learn. Things that I don't think I could fully comprehend, Mika. But
You're the smart one. I'm sure you'll figure it out.
I know, Firework, but there are a few more important things than just numbers and there is something out there. And she looks up at the stars. Something beyond anything we've comprehended. Something wilder than possibility. I don't think I'll ever reach it. I don't think any of us will reach it. Not just yet. But promise me. She looks at you really hard, really strong and focused. Promise me, if you ever get there, you'll tell me what it looks like. Beyond the window of possibility.
I won't just tell you. You're coming with me. You know that, right?
You promise?
On my heart.
Well, then I'll work on getting you there.
No, that's exactly what we're going together.
She kisses you, the stars twinkle, and the memory fades, and you find yourself back in the car, hamster running place.
Mika, could you please just stop? Stop. You're shaking the vehicle.
Sorry.
Thanks, love. Right, so...
I guess we don't have a good way to charge the tablet right now.
No, not yet. I'm figuring out. I said I would.
Well,
Doc says she will. She's gonna do it.
if you can't charge the tablet, how about you charge yourselves? And Arth is returning to the van with two hands, like both hands. You don't know how she opened the van door, honestly, with a tray in each hand.
Oh,
full
How
of
did
ex-
you get that?
Toe hook.
Yeah, literally the toe hook, and it's just like there's like a tray of. There's food. I'm not sure if you want to call it food, but it smells like it's. At least it smells better than the cafeteria food, at the very least, or at least from the mess hall. So yeah, it's two organics. There is a tray placed by Mika and one in front of Joe in the usual spot where it's not going to get in the way of her notes.
Yeah, I absently reach over, palm something, and stuff it in my mouth, not even looking at it. What was that?
I have no
Mika dives in.
It's as the group begins to chow down on their breakfast meal of some kind. Can't really tell,
Nutritious
honestly.
paste.
Nutrition. When it's gruel like this, it doesn't matter what meal it is. It's just there. It's gruel. Every meal is gruel. The point
Nutritious
is
paste.
Nutritious gruel paste. Outside of gruel paste discussions, the last thing that sort of happens before we pass off a little bit. All right, goddamn, my guy. The last thing you notice before we all head off is for a little bit is the squad gets pinged, and it's Roxanne. And she just very, very quietly just, Doc, he's awake, and he has things for you.
Right, yeah, lovely.
Before
Give
that,
me a
though,
sec.
we still planning to go somewhere?
Yeah, plans haven't changed. Can I do a quick look up in military intelligence
Mhm.
on Witch's file? Mostly, I'm trying to find her kid.
Mm. Well, if you're going for location, you got that already, actually.
Oh shit, I didn't write it down.
That's where y'all
Oh
were. I
yeah,
mean, yeah, that's where y'all were
where
headed.
Witch's kid is. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
Retcham. Okay.
That's actually specifically what Roxanne is asking you is, are we still planning to divert and go over to the location you found for Witch's kid?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Um. Well then, retcon what the hell I just said. Yes,
It's a
love.
good reminder, though.
The plans have not changed. Um. Are we telling him, or are we keeping this between us?
She says, I think that should be squad consensus, frankly.
Right.
I'm kidding. He
I'll
already
ask.
knows.
Oh, good. Right. Yeah, makes sense. We're all criminals now, anyway. So, yeah, why not?
Isn't it fun?
I have no problems with this.
Certainly.
Oh my god. That was, if you couldn't tell with the accent change, that was a me thing.
Mhm.
I just realized what it means to have the master controls for military intel.
And
Yeah, and what that means for my character. So this is me having a moment.
I'm glad.
Um,
You should stick in that moment for a bit while we cut to a break. Frankly, you should just hold in that. Actually, I like that as like a nice cutoff. Actually, I'm a big fan of that.
Holy
Okay.
crap.
So
Yeah.
while we ominously hold on to that note, with some somber moments, some concerned moments, some revelatory moments, and some foreshadowing ones, let's go ahead and take a little break. Give our cast some time to reflect and recover, and give you all some time to refuel, defuel, and get snacks. We'll see you all in just a few minutes, and don't go anywhere. Bye. And we return to tonight's episode of Stardust Ghosts. Where we last left off, our party had, well, and taken some time to rest. It's kind of hard to not rest after you commit an act of rebellion against the capital city of the empire you've been fighting for the past couple years of your life. Any case, so you head off for a little bit. It's fine. I mean, it's not a big deal or anything. Don't worry about it. But, as you make your way, and you found yourself stopping, you are recovering and discussing, sharing, well, thoughts and ideas and perhaps a few memories. And as the convoy prepares to move on, you receive a contact from your other squad mate who's keeping an eye on your commander, who effectively was just informed that he had some information he wanted to pass along to you all. So, unless there's any objection, I'll assume you're all getting back in the vans and heading off still as we're moving, because it's places to be, and we'll just sort of pass back in right there on that moment as we get again, just a comment from Roxanne just being like, Doc, he's awake. He wants to speak with you.
Right. Guest Tamir wants to speak with me.
And he kind of taps in for a bit and actually just, honestly, you can all be here for this. Good morning, Seraph Lance.
Are we still Seraph Lance?
Morning, Commander.
Good morning,
I am-
Samir.
He says, well, I'm certainly not your commander anymore. You're all still Seraph Lance to me.
So what do we call you?
Just Tamir's fine.
No titles. Okay.
You also hear him guffaw as Roxanne clearly throws in a very fictitious comment in that moment that you all don't hear. And he just... Anyway, on focus. I have been doing some research before I was forced to get some rest. And I've just been trying to make sense of the last few days. Things are shifting rapidly, to put it all lightly. Trying to
I
make
mean, you
sense
were
of
shot.
everything. That's true. And surprisingly, that's the least surprising thing that I've had experienced, understood, learned, or gone through the past few days.
Wow, you
Please
learned a lot
enlighten
then.
us.
Well, I'm going to assume, given that you all decided to break me out, that you all are at least pseudo-aware of what Project Phoenix is.
My parents' stolen work turning in mechs into monsters. Yes. Something along those lines.
Indeed. And I'm sorry for my father's crimes. That means nothing in the face of what you've been through, but that's all I can offer right now.
Could you tell us what you found out, or are we going to wait?
Apologies. Well, in my digging, and it's only been limited, I have found a few interesting things. One, and most obviously, Montella is in flames, and on red alert. Forces are being redirected, the citizens are in panic, news reports are already scattering to cover up whatever happened, and, well, strangely enough, there doesn't seem to be an all-points bulletin for a culprit yet. Which says to me we probably, or you all probably, weren't caught. Fine work. Secondly, perhaps more interestingly enough, I'm learning that 16th Division is being redeployed. We are, well, they are headed coastbound to the north. We're island hopping. They're island hopping. Naval invasions aren't uncommon in our time, but this late into the war? When our forces are stretched this thin? It's bold. However, the entirety of Metria's 3rd Fleet is stationed there. With that destroyed, their political power has waned enough that someone can force a ceasefire, perhaps. It seems bold, desperate, if my assumptions are correct. There has to be something more there. Something I'm not seeing. Lastly, and this is most curious, I'm not detecting any, well, on my private comms, which I strangely still haven't lost access to, I suppose, I'm noticing the Admiral's chat doesn't seem to have any chatter from a few notable individuals. Namely, anyone in 16th Division, which isn't too strange given operational security, but also a few admirals who were deployed with Dr. Asano have gone missing? You wouldn't happen to have heard from the good doctor, have you, recently?
Oh, you might want to ask Roxanne about that.
Define good, Doctor.
It was a metaphor. Hold on once, and you can vaguely hear him. What are they talking about? You what? And he just... You can't see him right now, but you can all hear the nose bridge pinch in his voice, and just... Okay. That's a new development.
Well, think of it this way. She's not quite dead.
And what makes you so certain of that?
Oh, she's a master of the Geist system. Clearly she would have a backup. That's based off of my research.
I suppose you make a valid point there. Well, then I suppose that Project Phoenix is yet to be fully wrought. There's not a lot we can do from the outside, but we should be thinking about what we will do when the time comes.
I think we're a little late for that. Arth gives Joe a very significant look.
Explanation?
The Type 22s that aided us in our rescue.
Or Mark III's. Oh, hell.
Well, your rocks here managed to set them loose. A little bit of freedom. Same with Zima. I'm sorry. Ketty. It's gonna take me a little bit, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Well, one, it's wonderful to meet you, Ketty.
Thank you. It's
And
wonderful to meet you
secondly,
as well.
and secondly, that is something I will have to factor into my considerations. Thank you for sharing. We are further behind the curve than I thought we were. What we do from here is... Excuse me. What we do from here is no longer simply my call to make. As I said before, I am no longer your commander. From here on out, I follow all of your lead. Although, one could argue I've been doing that this entire time.
So we're on the same page then. To make sure it's absolutely clear, we are going to, and I'm going to speak in the code that, so the people in the car with us don't understand, but like it's the basic bitch version of the code that Art and I have. So like y'all get it, but they think we're talking about Southern cooking again. We are going to rescue. Well,
He actually kind of cut you off here. Check on that pie that was being baked earlier, yes?
yes, absolutely.
Mm. I will say, I don't think I have much of an appetite, personally. But other members of the Lance do seem enticed by the flavor. We might want to investigate.
See, if we do get that pie, though, we can invite more friends to the party.
It's always a good time
Friends?
to have more friends at the party.
And if those friends bring, well,
More food.
carry-alongs?
Well, then that's what we
Well,
have bouncers for. And Arth, you can't, he can't see Arth, but Arth is very strongly fingering their sword right now.
And he just... And I have nothing but confidence in their abilities. I do, however, worry about the size of the party that may accompany our guests. Or should I say, the size of the guests?
That's not going to be a problem. Have you met me, love?
When conceded. Speaking of which, Madam Kubaka, I have a request.
Yes, Tamir.
You'll see your kind of personal panel tablet you've been working with since grabbing it from the rebels kind of lights up with a new transmission, and just I've been scrubbing some packets and I managed to come across a few things that are strangely above even my clearance. Mostly intelligence things, so I assume are separate from my division. I am a curious soul, though. Could you perhaps work some magic?
To a fact, I can. Yeah, using the fancy new master control thingy I got, I'm gonna pop up into these babies and see what they got.
You can see that he's kind of watching your your network transmission as you begin to enter into the system, and he can tell that you use the master controls. He's just immediately just like, "How did you?" Never mind. Not going to ask.
Don't ask questions you don't want the answer to, love.
Agreed. And you'll find a few things that get cracked open here. The first is a much more detailed breakdown of that invasion plan that sort of what's about to happen for you all. You all can sort of see, if you're looking at the map, there is an island just north of about where Redsham is, actually, which is mostly still open territory. There are several blips on that map which clearly indicate either Heptarchy strong points or positions of their fleets or forces. And clearly, as there are several red arrows going towards them, very much indicates the invasion plan is to hit several of these at once, with the intent to smash most of the Heptarchy's forces directly here. You also do note that Force Projection has the entire 16th, 14th, and 15th divisions, which is a lot more concentration of force than is usually common, which does seem like a strong concentration of force, but you're not sure if that's enough to push through a heavily strong pointed and defended Heptarchy island, especially because naval invasions are very costly. They have been since the dawn of human history. The second sort of interesting thing that you find outside of the invasion plan is a series of shipments. It's not said where they're coming from. It's said what they are. Mostly a lot of metals, engineering components, hyperfusion reactors. It's all things you'd assume are standard for mech building, for producing units. They are not being shipped to any known dockyard or breaker yard, which would be common. They're being sent to a remote facility, which is off books, like so off books that even here in the master controlled record, it's not recorded where they're headed. It's just simply recorded as Black Site 1.
Can I look up Black Site 1?
You can. Are you looking for where it is, what it is, or anything else?
Little column A, little column B. Mostly, to go with my train of thought right now, where it is.
Where it is not too far from, well, not too far from Redsham. It's doesn't really line up on the map properly. In fact, it doesn't line up with the landmass of Hera at all. You wager it's either put on some kind of encoded map, or it's just lying about where the facility is. Because who puts a facility in the middle of the ocean?
Okay.
Secondly, if you're going for the what it is, well, that gets you an even more cryptic answer.
Great, love it.
As the only thing that's recorded on file for Black Site 1 is a simple text file. It's not a huge file, so it's not like a long list of, anything like that. It's not like a list of supplies or information or anything like that. It's instead just 3 simple lines. Onward to the future. In 3 lines, separated.
Well, might have an idea of where your good doctor might be headed. And she might be planning a party of her own.
You believe she's building more Mark IIIs?
It's what the data is giving me. Cool. And why wouldn't she? She believes she's won.
You believe she plans to unleash them when the invasion happens? To supplement the attack?
If that's in her best interest.
Then, well, that would certainly explain the last thing that I became aware of recently. And you'll see him transmit you one last data packet, which is simply just a transit sort of docket. The PRV uses this to kind of say when important figures are traveling to or from certain places, so that there's always a record of who goes where and where they're supposed to end up and how they're supposed to get there. Well, you don't need to try to spell it out, because Samir says it directly afterwards. My father will be deployed with the 16th Division. To celebrate an oncoming victory, the High Delegate himself will be amongst, well, not amongst the troops, but he will be with the division. It's a signatory thing, an old tradition. And my father is ever a traditionalist.
Your father's a bloody idiot.
Why?
Oh, just who counts their chickens before they're hatched?
Well, if Asano releases the Mark IIIs, along with our own forces, mayhap that victory is more certain than we think.
Right, exactly, of course. Who am I to question the prince and the great leader? Right then, we've got a plan. Stop the evil woman before the invasion happens. Agreed.
There is a complication there as well.
And
Well,
what might that be?
We are due to arrive at Redsham in 8 days. The invasion begins at 9.
Rome wasn't conquered in a day, now was it?
Can it be destroyed in 1?
That's a question for historians.
And I believe our looks are towards the future, yes? Not the past.
Onward to the future.
Oh, please don't say that ever again. It makes my spine tingle.
Well, the reason why we're called collateral damage. Arth takes a look at
Living up to
Mika.
her name.
That leads to a follow-on question. I do not doubt my squad's propensity for what's called collateral damage. I do wonder how much of it you can do without mechs, though.
I did use all of my explosives on getting you out.
And I think we'll need
Don't
more
worry,
than a few
I
explosives to
feel like
stop
there's
an
more.
invasion.
Let me take a look in the van.
He says, while she does that, I believe we'll need more than a few explosives to stop an invasion. Plans?
Well, speaking of friends inviting, bringing... How do I want to phrase this? Speaking of friends bringing other friends to parties, I believe a trade could be made.
And I'm assuming you intend this trade to be more favorable to us?
Well, at least from my personal experience, there's not... It's... Mothers are very protective of their children, are they not?
There's a long pause before he responds, and that's certainly held to be true in my experience. So the trade then is pie for our safe passage.
Oh, pie for little toys.
Smart.
Do I sense an objection?
Not quite. I understand what has to be done. Does not mean I have to enjoy it.
And then I look around the cabin where we're at, and I look around and make sure that my team is okay. Because I'm pretty sure Roxanne doesn't give a fuck, but I'm making sure the team is okay with what I'm proposing. Any objections at all?
Kenny's just sort of staring at you, but then like sort of just slowly shakes her head.
I said I'd follow you to whatever end. Arth does not look happy about it, but
Yeah. Joe clocks it and keeps moving, staring straight at Mika. Mika, dear, your thoughts?
I don't have a better plan.
Lovely. Right then.
He just says, I suppose that's settled then. I'll pass our diverted coordinates to the convoy later so we can know where we're headed. I don't think they'll ask too many questions.
Not for us. We're
They
the
seem quite fond of
heroes.
you all.
quite fond of you too.
I am tired of people being overly fond of me.
Lovely. I'm gonna disconnect from that call.
He didn't really have much more to say after that anyway, honestly. I think he just kind of lets you all know to carry on. And other than that, passes you all just one last reminder that, yeah, he's no longer your commander. At this point, he's going to follow all of your lead. It's not just like a begrudging thing. It's not just like, oh, all right, I guess I'll go where you guys go. It's more of a, hey, I trust you all from here, so make the call, and I'm with you. That said, I suppose the squad is going to carry on and travel forward. I do. I wonder how to sort of parse this. You get the sense as Tamir cuts off the call, those of you who remain on it before he leaves, that there's something he definitely clearly really needs to talk about. Not so much something that's on his mind. Maybe it's something that's on his mind, but I think it's more of a like, I don't know how to broach this with the person it's about, so I don't know how to broach it to anybody. So I'm just kind of just, and again, he doesn't say anything about it, but it's very clearly just like, I'll talk to you all soon, which is like not a thing he usually says when he's dismissing himself from you all, you know?
Yeah. Can I, when I disconnected the call, pull up on my little jailbroken tablet thingy? What? Who authorized the attack on my parents?
Well, last time you looked through this, you recall the record mentioning that the attack was ordered by the High Delegate himself.
Yes.
That
I mean,
holds.
not so much who ordered it, who carried it out.
As in who actually did it.
Yep.
There's a general on record. The name is much like a lot of the other parts of the record redacted, so it's a little hard to actually pull through the encoded information. There is, however, force composition given. There is a unit identification given, and a sort of set of tasks given. The units that were sent were 2 security force battalions, so foot soldiers with advanced equipment, as well as 2 lances of experimental Type 22s before they became full frontline models. It's not said who, what pilots were present. There is only listed a commander amongst the 2 units of the 2 units of Type 22s. There's only 1 pilot listed as was present to have done this directly as their unit commander. Their ident tag, which is definitely different than it is now. Their call sign, however, is still the same. Which?
Yep, figured out. This is gonna be fine. Again, not sharing that information at all. And as soon as I see everyone else is off the call, I immediately shut that down. And turn back to everyone with a too bright smile on my face, like I'm trying to bring back Violet. Righto. So now we have a plan.
More than we usually have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kitty is staring directly at your eyes, Joe. And
they are burning. They are smoldering embers of hatred right now.
Yeah.
Well, I think this might be a really good spot to hit ourselves with a cool little closing scene to bring us around the bend for the night. We part away from the scene of Seraph Lance, if there's still Seraph Lance, moving themselves away on a convoy. It's approaching later in the day. It will probably be late evening by the time you arrive where you're headed, based on the coordinates. But as the sun still peaks above some high mountains in the north, we cut ourselves away to somewhere else. A room with little light, with not much to say in terms of illumination, but still buzzing with individuals. It is a lab where there are individuals moving around, carrying out data blocks and moving server banks. On the floor is a cleanup team and an investigative team who are working at a corpse, which is blossomed with a single bullet hole in the middle of its forehead. The only other presence in this room is a woman. White-haired, dark-skinned, and eyes focused and jaded. She looks down at the corpse, saying nothing, portraying nothing, simply stares. There are two guards behind her, armed with rifles, who stand and wait for a command from their, officer, especially given that their superior is now, dead. Instead, she simply turns and begins to walk towards the door. A comment, a sort of quip from a few minutes from not too long ago, from that same day, burning in the back of her brain. The two soldiers with her turn with her, and as they move to the door, she holds a hand and stops them. Commander Witch? She goes, "Remain here. I'll return." And the other one speaks. "And where are you headed, madam?" She focuses her eyes not on any of them, but on the door, and her eyes center in with the cold glaze of a killer. To check on something. And she turns and begins to walk away. And with that, I believe we call tonight's episode to a close. I thank you all for coming out to a wondrous episode of Stardust Ghosts. And I'm gonna play the people music. I didn't play the fucking people music earlier. I'm gonna play it right now. I never get to play it at this point in time. Where the fuck is it? I forgot. I found it. I thank my players for bringing their best as always. This was a very ad hoc, more downtime episode to fill in some space, but I think it gave us a lot of space to recuperate and recover and plan for what comes next. I also got to give some little teasers for what's the future for us. I won't linger on that too much longer so I can get our cast out of here and on to other commitments. So, in the order that I call you out, please mention who you are, who you played today, where you can be found on the internet, and a few things you have coming up next. We'll do reverse order from last time. Never mind, I can't do that because I forgot what order I did first time anyway, so I'm just going to do whatever order works. But we're going to start with the incomparable, the incredible, and the explosive Ninja Penguin AM, otherwise known as Akemi.
Hi, that's me. I'm Akemi. She, they. I play Mika, who likes exploding things and, sleeps funny. She, her. You can find me on the internet at Ninja Penguin AM, wherever I exist. And you can find me over at Friends Who Roll Dice Monday nights for Mind of the Martyr. 6 p.m. Pacific. I remember the time.
Times. There we go. Times are hard. But we're harder. That didn't work. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna stop embarrassing myself and pass.
No,
it's fine. I'm gonna pass it over to Michelle. Somebody else besides me talk, please.
Oh, okay. I guess it's me. I'm Michelle. I played Arth, our slightly emotional robot lady. Yeah, you don't find me on the internet because I don't exist. Don't look for me for social. Sorry, I don't do any of that stuff. But you can find me here if you really want to see me. You can find me here for By His Shadowed Peace and The World Within You. So stick around for those. Right on.
Very excited for those. Those are both great shows. One of them I run, the other one I don't run, and they're both really fucking good. So watch them both. That's your order too. No exceptions. Passing it on from Michelle over to the incredible and incomparable. I use that same two words a lot. I use different words. Over to the brilliant, the bursting, the radiant, and the awe-inspiring Danny's Corner.
Hi, I'm Danny's Corner at Animated Pizza on Twitter. You can find me on my own channel, Danny's Corner, where I do streams sometimes. I do variety streams, I do little RP streams, I do art streams, I do everything sometimes. Besides that, you can follow me on my Twitter to see what I'm up to usually. And I also have a Ko-Fi, where if you want to, you can give me money or commission me, and I can draw you something. Cause yeah.
If you saw the intro art and you were like, wow, that looks like really good art. I wish I could get some art like that. That's how you can do it. You're welcome. There you go. Go figure it out. You don't thank us later.
Give me money. Sorry.
You're great. And from there, we pass ourselves on to the last, but anything far from the least member of our absolutely stunning table, who never fails to bring precise, perfect, poignant, and powerful roleplay. I am, of course, talking about Casper, the NB Ghost.
I am Casper, the NB Ghost. This is coming out on Wednesday, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Then, yeah, Ocio, I am Casper, the NB Ghost. You can find me on my own channel because this Friday I've got an interview with Logan.
Ooh.
He was a writer on Coyote and Crow, among a bunch of other things, but that's the big one that I know him from. And then on Saturday, I am GMing my Monster of the Week Ghost Hunter game on Cybernation Uncensored. And then later on Cybernation Uncensored, I am playing a new game, Cyborg, which is gonna be fun. And then Sunday, I'm on Weird Frontier because I'm always there on Sundays.
Nice.
And that's on Pluto Cleric's channel. For my schedule, you can follow me on Twitter. I am Casper DNB Ghost, and everywhere it's Casper DANB Ghost. Oh, and I played Doc, who is entering her villain era.
That'll be fun.
Very clearly. Like, yeah. I apologize, but here we support women's wrongs as well as their rights.
That's true. We do genuinely do that. And lastly, folks, if you don't somehow know who I am by now, I'm Young Foxy, aka Big Foxy, also known as your favorite fox, Philly's finest. I am on Twitter at Young Foxy. It's YUNG underscore FOXXI. Actually, no underscore, just FOXXI. And I do stuff around the internet. Next place you'll see me, besides this right here, is tomorrow, actually, where we return for Frozen Rain, our Lancer campaign full of humanity and the questions around what it takes to consider it. A lot of mecha and humanity commentary on this channel. It's my favorite thing, actually. Outside of that, you'll see me in By Shadowed Peace, mystery-focused Warhammer 40k lensed Wrath and Glory campaign. I'm also occasionally popping in for some other stuff. My dog's yelling at me, and that's all I got to say for now. So, friends, we're gonna get on out of here and let you guys go off to your evening. Stick around for our raid. Take care of yourselves, each other, and everybody else around you. I got it, dog. I gotta say bye to the people first. All right, I gotta go. So I'm gonna say bye to everybody, okay?
Bye.
Take care of yourselves.
Bye.